Siona God, hello all. Osha Sahiya, good evening, and Wado, thank you for watching. So this is day 40 of Transformation of America, the true life story of a CIA mind control slave by Kathy O'Brien with Mark Phillips. And we're finishing up chapter 14, it's disgusting. And we're going to start on chapter 15, which I'm sure will be disgusting. Immediately following the Swiss Villa incident, Houston was scheduled as usual to perform at the country fair in Berryville, Arkansas. There, Houston and I had been visiting with longtime Clinton friend and supporter H.B. Gibson when we parted company to attend a private meeting at the mansion of Clinton's bisexual friend and supporter Bill Hall. Had reportedly made his fortune in the prefabricated log home business, and the Clintons were staying in a guest villa pattern after those at Swiss Villa. Hillary had taken toddler Chelsea to the villa while Clinton and his aide/bodyguard attended the meeting. Tommy Overstreet was also in attendance, as this directly coincided with the recent Lampy meeting. We all sat in Hall's sunken living room on two couches facing each other with a black mirror coffee table between us. Hall had cut numerous lines of cocaine on the table, and everyone present, including Bill Clinton, was inhaling it through $50 bills rolled into straws. The conversation ranged from CIA, drugs, and politics to the Swiss Villa amphitheater and country music. At that time, a major effort was underway to move Nashville, Tennessee's country music industry, to the Lampy, L-A-M-P-E area. In parentheses, it says it has since literally moved to nearby Branson. Okay. In closer proximity to CIA cocaine operations that leashed the industry, Tommy Overstreet was attempting to convince Hall, who was obviously no stranger to the drug, and in parentheses says cocaine business, to join the high-level CIA cocaine operation that was funding covert activity. They discussed the possibility of Hall transporting cocaine from Berryville, Arkansas to Nashville, Tennessee, to be in on the ground level of what would soon be one of the largest and most prolific CIA cocaine operations, the Branson, Missouri country music industry. Okay. By enlisting now, the contacts and customers that Hall would procure could politically and financially bolster him for life. Additionally, Overstreet discussed the viability of using Hall's own company trucks to transport the drug through Atlanta, Georgia, Louisville, Kentucky, and Jacksonville, Florida, as well as Nashville, Tennessee, and Lampy, Missouri. These key CIA cocaine routes coincided with Hall's established truck routes, according to the insiders present at the meeting. Hall was being offered the opportunity of a lifetime, as his role would also include laundering money through his business to fund the black budget covert operations. Hall appeared nervous and skeptical, and Clinton and Overstreet attempted to maintain a light atmosphere by joking that Hall could change the name of his trucking line to Clinton Coke Lines. Clinton Coke Lines. Okay. So dumb. Hall was not convinced and began to raise questions as to the longevity of the operation and how he was going to protect himself. Although Hall was very adept at the cocaine business, he voiced concern that he found it easier to trust those who were not with the CIA operations than he did U.S. government protected participants. Clinton reassured him that it was Reagan's operation, but Hall was concerned that some faction of the government would shut it down like a sting operation without warning and leave him literally holding the bag. Houston laughed and explained that no one was going to cut it, in brackets says the drug business, off. He assured them it was far too lucrative and there would always be a market for drugs, a market controlled by those criminals implementing New World Order. Clinton added to what Houston said, talking in local colloquialisms. Bottom line is we've got control over the, in brackets, drug industry. Therefore, we've got control of them, in brackets, suppliers and buyers. You control the guy underneath you, and Uncle, in brackets, says Sam, has you covered. What have you got to lose? No risk. No one's going to hang you out to dry. And whatever spills off the truck as it passes through, in brackets, he laughed and snorted another line of coke, you get to clean up. Hall smiled at his friend, which was apparently interpreted as consent. Clinton motioned for his aide to get his ledger. Overstreet began pulling out his paperwork, and Hall neatly cleared the table of the remaining coke lines. Clinton gestured to me and told Houston, get her out of here. Houston didn't move and laughed. She's a presidential model. She keeps secrets bigger than yours. Excuse me, Clinton responded, I don't care, get her the F out of here. Hall's wife led me away and locked me in the back bedroom. After an intermediate period of time, I heard her telephone Hillary at the guest villa. She then drove me up the mountain through the dark to meet with Hillary. Although I had previously met Hillary, we had very little to say to each other, particularly since I was still dazed and tranced from the tortures I had endured at the CIA near-death trauma center in Lampy. Hillary knew I was a mind-controlled slave, and like Bill Clinton, just took it in stride as normal part of life in politics. Hillary was fully clothed and stretched out on the bed, sleeping when Hall's wife and I arrived. Hillary, I brought you something you you'll really enjoy. Kind of an unexpected surprise, Bill ordered her out of the meeting, and I took her to my bedroom and made an interesting discovery. She is literally a two-faced, in brackets says referring to my vaginal mutilation carving, bitch. Hillary opened her eyes and sleepily roused herself. Show me. Hall's wife ordered me to take my clothes off while Hillary watched. Is she clean? Hillary asked, meaning disease-free. Of course, she's birds, she responded, continuing the conversation as though I were not there. Plus, I heard Houston say something about her being a presidential model, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. It means she's clean, Hillary said matter-of-factly as she stood up. I was not capable of giving thought to such things back then, but I am aware in retrospect that all presidential model slaves I knew seemed to have an immunity to social diseases. It was a well-known fact in the circles I was actually passed around in that government level. Mind control sex slaves were clean to the degree that none of my abusers took precautions such as wearing condoms. Hall's wife patted the bed and instructed me to display the mutilation. Hillary exclaimed, God, and immediately began performing oral sex on me. Apparently aroused by the carving in my vagina, Hillary stood up and quickly peeled out of her matronly nylon panties and pantyhose. Uninhibited despite a long day in the hot sun, she gasped, eat me, oh God, eat me now. I had no choice but to comply with her orders, and Bill Hall's wife made no move to join me in my distasteful task. Hillary had resumed examining my hideous mutilation and performing oral sex on me. When Bill Clinton walked in, Hillary lifted her head to ask, how did it go? Jesus. Clinton appeared totally unaffected by what he walked into, tossed his jacket on a chair, and said, it's official, I'm exhausted, I'm going to bed. I put my clothes on as ordered, and Hall's wife drove me back down to the mansion where Houston was waiting for me. The meeting apparently had been a success. I heard discussions throughout the remaining years between Houston, his agent Reggie McLaughlin, MacLaughlan, and Loretta Lynn's handler Ken Riley, pertaining to Hall's successful branch of the CIA cocaine operation emanating from Arkansas. No discussions were as poignant and revealing as those between Alex Houston and CIA operative country music entertainer Boxcar Willie. Boxcar Willie burst onto the country music scene after an ad campaign of high-tech, hypnotically persuasive produced television commercials that strategically made him an overnight sensation and star. Putting stuff in the media. It ain't fake, it ain't conspiracy. The country music industry freedom train needed a conductor to lead the industry and fans to Branson, Missouri, and Boxcar Willie was placed in the driver's seat. Like the Pied Piper of Hamlin, Boxcar Willie succeeded in his role of it's a play on words, transferring, TRANCE-FERRING, the industry in close proximity to Lampy CIA cocaine operations. Boxcar Willie was one of the primary ground-level contacts that Bill had made after Clinton convinced him to cash in on the cocaine benefits of the country music industry transfer. Houston and Boxcar Willie discussed Hall's lucrative dealings throughout the years in my presence while traveling the country together. Billed on the same shows, including performances of the Swiss Villa Amphitheater, I had much contact with Boxcar Willie personally, since my government-sponsored cocaine runs often coincided and intermeshed with his. But I never knew Boxcar Willie as well as my daughter Kelly knew him. Kelly has named Boxcar Willie as one of her primary sexual abusers in 3 different mental institutions and has voiced frustration at the lack of justice. Why am I the one locked up while my abusers remain free? She constantly pleads. I assure her I'm doing all I can to blow the whistle on Boxcar Willie for her and expose his role in transferring the country music industry to close proximity of the Lampy, Missouri CIA cocaine operation as outlined by Bill Clinton. First footnote, loyalty to the sovereignty of our country is non-existent under New World Orders. President Clinton poses no more leadership or loyalty to our country than Ronald Reagan did, since both followed New World Order directives from former UN ambassador and CIA director George Bush. Hillary Clinton is the only female to become sexually aroused at the sight of my mutilated vagina. Okay. Anyway, I don't know if you know who Boxcar Willie is. I did not. And nor was I going to go listen to any of his stuff, because I'm pretty sure it is just inundated with some mind control crap. And I ain't about that. Anyway, and I know calling somebody dumb is low frequency, but I feel like these people are dumb to think that they could get away with all this junk. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not just us that's seeing it, but it's creator that's seeing it. So ultimately they have to pay for all of it. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be paying for nothing when I leave here. You know what I mean? I want to be doing what I want to do. Anyway, then to go hang again, we need to go try not to we meet again. Love you, mean it.